They ignored his ideas. They laughed at his presence. But by the end of the year, the whole company stood still when he spoke. Marcus Lind sat in the corner of the conference room watching his presentation die a slow death. 20 slides of carefully researched improvements for the customer service department, and not a single person was listening. His manager scrolled through emails. His colleagues whispered about weekend plans. The VP hadn't even shown up. "Any questions?" Marcus asked, his voice barely carrying across the room. "Yeah," someone muttered without looking up. "When's lunch?" The laughter that followed felt like a punch to the gut. Marcus gathered his materials in silence, another failed attempt at making his mark at Sterling Solutions. 6 months into the job, and he was still invisible, the quiet guy from IT who nobody remembered was even in the meeting. That night, Marcus stared at his reflection in his apartment bathroom mirror. How do you get people to listen? He asked himself. How do you matter? He tried everything wrong. Speaking louder in meetings only made people tune out faster. Sending longer emails just guaranteed they'd go unread. Name-dropping his MIT degree made eyes roll. Nothing worked. Influence isn't about volume. It's about value, his grandmother had told him once. But what did that even mean in a corporate world that seemed to reward the loudest voices? The next morning, Marcus tried a different approach. Instead of preparing another presentation nobody would watch, he simply observed. He watched Sarah from accounting stress over a system error. He noticed Tom from sales struggling with the new CRM software. He saw the CEO's assistant, Linda, frantically trying to coordinate a board meeting with outdated tools. People don't follow titles. They follow trust, he remembered his grandmother saying. So Marcus started small. He fixed Sarah's system error without being asked, staying late to ensure her reports went out on time. He created a simple guide for Tom's CRM issues and left it on his desk with a note, thought this might help. He quietly upgraded Linda's scheduling system during his lunch break. No fanfare. No mass emails claiming credit. Just help offered quietly. Why are you doing this? Sarah asked one day, finding Marcus troubleshooting her computer again. What's in it for you? Marcus shrugged. Nothing. Everything. Does it matter? She studied him for a moment. The loudest voice doesn't win hearts. The real ones do. Weeks turned into months. Marcus kept his head down, but his hands busy. He became the person people sought when things broke, not because it was his job, but because he'd proven he cared. He listened more than he spoke, remembering details others forgot. When Jane from HR mentioned her daughter's science fair, Marcus sent her links to coding resources. When the janitor, Carlos, mentioned computer classes were too expensive, Marcus offered to teach him during breaks. If you want to influence the world, start by listening to it, Marcus wrote in his journal one night. The turning point came during the quarterly crisis. A cyber attack hit Sterling Solutions on the worst possible day right before the biggest client presentation of the year. Systems crashed. Data scattered. Panic spread like wildfire through the office. The IT director froze. The consultants they'd hired couldn't fix it fast enough. The CEO was minutes away from calling the client to cancel. Marcus stepped forward. Not with arrogance, but with quiet confidence. I can fix this, he said simply. You. The IT director scoffed. This is beyond. I've been mapping our vulnerabilities for months, Marcus interrupted calmly. Not to show off. Just in case. Give me 30 minutes. The room fell silent. The CEO nodded. Do it. What followed was Marcus's finest hour, not because he saved the day alone, but because of how he did it. He delegated tasks to people based on strengths he'd observed. He spoke clearly, calmly, never raising his voice even as the clock ticked down. He acknowledged every contribution, making the janitor who helped run cables feel as valuable as the senior engineer. True influence is silent at first, but when it speaks, everyone listens, the CEO would later tell the board. 28 minutes later, systems were restored. The presentation went forward. The client signed, but something had shifted in that room. People looked at Marcus differently. Not with fear or forced respect, but with genuine trust. He'd shown them what leadership looked like when it came from service, not status. How did you stay so calm? Linda asked him afterward. Marcus smiled. Panic is loud. Solutions are quiet. I chose quiet. From that day forward, things changed. Not overnight, but steadily. People began seeking Marcus's input not because they had to, but because they wanted to. His ideas, the same ones ignored months ago, were suddenly being implemented. Not because he demanded it, but because people trusted the messenger. You want to know the secret to influence? Marcus told a group of new hires 6 months later. Stop trying to be influential. Start trying to be helpful. The influence follows. One young woman raised her hand. But what if people take advantage? What if they use you? Marcus nodded, a fair question. Some will. But here's what I learned. You don't help people to gain power over them. You help them to gain power with them. When you lift others, you rise together. The real test came when Marcus was offered a promotion to IT director. The same role held by the man who'd scoffed at him during the crisis. The company expected him to take it. He'd earned it. Instead, Marcus did something unexpected. He recommended Sarah from accounting, who'd shown incredible leadership potential. He suggested Tom from sales for the new CRM project lead. He nominated Carlos, the former janitor turned junior IT specialist, for the development program. Why? The CEO asked, genuinely puzzled. This is your moment. No, Marcus corrected gently. This is our moment. Real influence isn't climbing the ladder alone. It's building a ladder others can climb too. The CEO leaned back, a slow smile spreading across his face. So what do you want, Marcus? To keep doing what I'm doing, but with resources to help more people. Create an innovation lab where every employee, from intern to executive, can bring ideas. Where we solve problems together. People follow those who make them better, not those who just make themselves bigger, Marcus added. The innovation lab was approved within a week. Marcus led it not from a corner office, but from the middle of the workspace, always accessible, always listening. The company transformed not through top-down mandates, but through bottom-up inspiration. A year later, at the company anniversary party, the CEO asked Marcus to speak. The same conference room where he'd been ignored now overflowed with people wanting to hear him. Marcus looked out at the faces: Sarah, now thriving in her new role, Tom, whose CRM improvements had revolutionized their sales, Carlos, teaching coding to other employees, Linda, whose upgraded systems had transformed operations. They say I influenced this company, Marcus began, his voice steady but warm. But the truth is, you influenced me first. You taught me that influence isn't about being seen. It's about seeing others. It's not about being heard. It's about hearing what's unspoken. He paused, making eye contact around the room. Every person here has influence. Not because of your title or tenure, but because of your capacity to impact another human being's day. Use it wisely. Use it kindly. Use it to lift, not to push down. Remember, influence without integrity is just manipulation. But influence with heart? That's transformation. The applause was thunderous, but Marcus had already stepped away from the podium, moving through the crowd, asking people about their projects, their ideas, their dreams, still listening, still serving, still influencing by being influenced. Later, the new intern asked him, "How do you influence people?" Marcus smiled, remembering his own question in the mirror months ago. "You don't influence people," he said. "You invest in them. The influence is just interest earned on that investment." As the party wound down, Marcus found a quiet moment to text his grandmother. "Finally understood what you meant about value over volume." Her reply came quickly. "I know, sweetheart. I could hear it in your silence. The best leaders always speak without words first." Marcus looked around at the transformed company, at the lives changed not through force but through patience, not through demanding but through demonstrating. True influence, he'd learned, wasn't about making people listen to you. It was about becoming someone worth listening to.